All right. Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you. It is a pleasure to have you all with us for the CCRH STSH Orientation Program 2026, presented by Homeopathy 360. I'm Dr. Noori, Associate Managing Editor at BHMS Publishers, and I'm absolutely delighted to be your moderator today as we embark on this very important conversation on nurturing the next generation of researchers in homeopathy. A very special welcome to all the students, interns, young researchers, faculty members who have joined us today. And a heartfelt welcome to our distinguished speakers and our very special guest faculty whose presence makes this orientation truly valuable. Before we begin, let us take a moment to understand why the STSH program is such an important opportunity for undergraduate students. The Central Council for Research in Homeopathy, or CCRH, is an apex research uh, entity in homeopathy, which is working towards linking research with education and facilitating scientific research in homeopathy. The short-term studentship program, or STSH, was initiated by CCRH to encourage an interested and aptitude base for research among undergraduate medical students. So today's orientation is not simply about understanding an application process. It is also about something much bigger, learning how to think like a researcher. Today, we have brought together experienced researchers and educators who will guide you through thoroughly. And later, we will also have the privilege of learning from our distinguished guest. So, students, I encourage you to listen actively, take notes, ask questions, and make the most of this opportunity. Please put your questions in the Q&A box, and we will try to address them at the end of the session. And with that, let us begin today's program. To begin today's program, we have someone who will help us understand the STSH program itself, from eligibility and application to the opportunities it can open for students. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Preeti Jha, Associate Professor at Sumandeep Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, Gujarat. And she's also an associate editor of the Homeopathic Heritage, a peer-reviewed journal by BHMS Publishers. This is the perfect place to begin because before we start thinking about research ideas, we need to understand the opportunity that CCRH STSH offers us. Dr. Preeti, we are delighted to have you with us. Over to you.
Thank you, Nurima. A very good evening to all the faculty members, dear students across the whole of India. Myself, Dr. Preeti Jha, Associate Professor and HOD Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology from Sumandeep Homeopathy Medical College, Vadodara, Gujarat. I'm very glad to have this opportunity to speak about STSH scheme introductory part. For that, I'll be very thankful to BHMS Publishers for providing me this platform and giving me this opportunity. Can we start?
Absolutely. Please.
Screen is visible?
Yes, please.
Okay. Shall I start?
Absolutely.
Okay. Firstly, I want to tell everyone that what STSH is. STSH, it is a short-term studentship in homeopathy. Here, this scheme is introduced or initiated by the pains of Central Council of for Research in Homeopathy. They have initiated this scheme in order to promote interest and aptitude for research among undergraduate homeopathy medical students. The eligibility criteria for this, all the students from second BHMS till internship, they are eligible for this fulfilling this STSH scheme or taking benefit of this scheme. But the first year students, they are not eligible for this. Another thing regarding internship is that the students who are completing their internship within the advertisement, and after that within the 3 months, if they are completing their internship, they are not eligible for this, having the benefit of this scheme. They cannot enroll themselves for this scheme. And then after that, Indian nationals in the recognized homeopathy medical colleges, they are only eligible for that. No NRI and no student from other country can enroll for such scheme. The benefit which the student get from this scheme is they are getting 30,000 as a stipend for the students, and the research cost is always borne by the medical college or the institution. Now, what all the research setting is should be there in their own medical college and under the eligible permanent full-time faculty guide. Then what this gives to the students. So it is an opportunity to learn research methodology, the techniques through the short duration research or dependent projects. Then who can apply the eligibility? Again, as I already told you all, that internship ending within the next 3 months after the registration deadline, they are not eligible. Now regarding the guide. So regarding guide, the permanent full-time faculty members can have the eligibility to become a guide. They must work in the student's medical institution. Then the guide may be from any department. There is no bar regarding ki they should be from such and such department. They can be from any department of the same college. No part-time consultants, visiting faculty, residents, tutors, pool officers, and PG students, they cannot be enrolled themselves as the guide for these students. After that, how many students one guide can guide them? So maximum 2 students can work under one guide. But there is one thing that the topic should be different. Next, the planning for annual STSH timeline. It is always the registration and the concept proposal always starts with the month of July and August. The last date for the filling of this research proposal is 31st of August. This year also we have very soon we have this date, that is 31st August, and students have to complete their work within this duration. After that, the review of application work is to be done within this September to October. In the month of December of this year, the student candidates shortlist is announced. After that, from January, if your proposal gets selected, then the student will get the this much time duration, that from January to July, they have to complete their research work, they have to prepare their all the reports, and by the end of September, that is always 30th September, they have to submit their final submission. After that, in the month of October and November, the panel will review all the reports which they have received for the shortlisted candidates. After that, the result gets declared, how many of them gets shortlisted in this awardee and the certificate list. After that, how to apply for this process? This is a question which usually asked. The first thing, the how to do registration. For that, the student must have their active email, mobile number. They have to register firstly with this. For that, what they have to do, on the just go to Google search, on that write STSH, and when they click over it, they that whole portal gets open. There they have to log in themselves. Then the students, it has three processes which they have to complete. First one is the student details. So in students details, they have to write down the course, the college address, their personal details, all have to be mentioned in the first part. After that, after completing the registration process. Second one is the guide details. In this, the students have to mention the name of the guide, designation, the department from which the guide belongs to, and their contact details with active email ID. After that, they the proposal, they have to upload their proposal, which is having a title, introduction, objective, methodology, implication, references, which I'll tell you all how many words they have to write down in that title, introduction, and everything. Then they have to fill 2 forms for AAF, which is called as application attestation form. One is the application attestation form. It is in the initial process, and when they complete their whole research work, at that time they have to fill report attestation form. So 2 types of attestation form a student has to fill, which is shortlisted in this. So in the application attested form, they have to fill that whole form, sign it, attested by the institute. They have to scan it and upload in the portal. After that, they have to submit it online. No hard copies are required for the proposal. And what is the purpose of this? The practical student training is to be there. After that, how to prepare that STSH proposal. So there are certain limitations of word. First one is the title. It maximum a student can use 25 words. That title should be short, accurate, and concise with clear variables and objectives. After that, the introductory part, maximum 300 words one can use. It should be rationale, significance, knowledge, gap, controversy, and references. All the points should be clearly mentioned in the introductory part. Then after that, the objectives. For the objectives, maximum they can opt for 100 words. That objective should be specific, it should be clear, it should be achievable. State what will be described, determined, and compared. Means what the student want to compare, what he want to research. Every word which they select should be specific and clear. After that, the methodology. One can opt for 800, maximum 800 words. Now for this, how the student and their guide combinedly design, how they design this proposal, what population, the sample size, the criteria on which they are working, intervention, what are the different interventions they are using, data collection, how they are collecting, then quality control and analysis, and ethical part. Regarding ethical part, one of the book on ethics in the 2017 is given, and it is available on the STSH sites. It is for, it will give you the ethical regarding information. What are the ethical clearance you require for when you are conducting it on the humans, if you are conducting it on the animals. So this clearance should be required. After that, if you are working with some other institution, then ethical clearance from the another institute should be there. So at this time, you have to compile 2 ethical clearance reports. Then after that, implications. For implications, 100 words one can opt. Here, what expected knowledge gained and what scientific advancement one can do further. This can be explained in the implication part. After that, in the references, maximum one can opt for 300 words. And here, they can, what they mention all the references which they are collecting. Now, regarding research governance, ethical and mandatory requirements. First one is IEC and IAEC. IAEC is for institutional animal ethical clearance. So IEC is the approval required for human participants, as I told you before. Another one is IAEC. It is required when animals are used. So we have that veterinary proving also. We can plan to conduct research on animals also, as nowadays many of the people are using these homeopathy medicines on plants also. But there we do not need any kind of ethical clearance from the agriculture department, but for animals and humans, we require this approval. After that, before research, ethical approval must be obtained before beginning actual research. Then informed consent. Informed consent is for those students, those humans which are participating in this So for that, we do not have to collect the consent form of all the participants. We can have that as enclosure. We can add only one informed consent. After that, confidentiality. So do not submit confidential participation information. The supplied guidance asks for the blank unsigned consent case record form. That is what I already told you. So this research carried out without any appropriate IAEC approval may be rejected. Then submission. For submission regarding the what are the documents and what are the attachments which we have to mandatorily compile. So the compulsory one, as I told you about the attestation form, we have two attestation form. First one at the time when you apply for this STSH proposal. So that form is known as application attestation form. It should be filled and signed by the student, attested by the authority of the institute. It should be scanned in a good form, and it is saved as a PDF and then uploaded with the application. The application will not be accepted without the required AAF, that is application attestation form. Other or the optional at application stage, IAEC approval, informed consent form, case study, case record form, study questionnaire. So ethical approval becomes mandatory before research starts and must be submitted as required with the final report. Now, we have some unbiased reviews. So keep the proposal anonymous. The supplied STSH guide specifically asks students to remove identifying information from the proposal or the project, the student name, guide name, address, telephone number, email IDs, like that. After that, research quality. So build a strong research proposal, choose some relevant topics which are new and having some developmental research skills. Avoid those projects which are already well established and known facts. So try to avoid these. Then make the study which is very feasible and available time and resources. State the sample size and appropriate statistical methodology. Do not go for the complicated things. Go for the common things which is very commonly seen. Firstly, we have to do research on the common things. Later, we'll see for the complicated things. Clearly describe study design. Whatever you are planning, just mention each and everything in a very clear manner. Clearly mention the population. Clearly write down what you are selecting. Your selection criteria should be mentioned in a very easy manner. One can understand very easily, and data should be collected in a proper manner. Now, plan confidentiality, quality control, and ethical safeguards. Use appropriate and recent literature to support the proposal. As we see, the advancement is going on day by day. So a clear, feasible, and ethically sound methodology is central to this. Now, before you submit, we have some checklist. What we have to see. The one thing is the eligible BHMS student eligible permanent full-time guide must be confirmed. No part-time schools, tutors, no, they are not eligible. So firstly, check whether your guide is full-time, permanent or not. Next thing is proposal follows all sections and word limits. As I told you before, the number of words that is for the title, it is maximum 25 words. If you are crossing that limit, so the selection chances will become lesser. So choose very within the limit, everything which I already told you. Then AAF, that is application attestation form. It should be complete, signed, and attested and saved as PDF. Do not upload it as image. Always convert it into PDF and then upload it. After that, identifying information removed from proposal report. Final report prepared and submitted by the stipulated deadline. Do not wait for the last date. Just do when you complete your work, just upload it. Then original and feasible research topics selected. sample size and statistical plan stated, required ethical approvals obtained before research, registration number and registered email saved safely. We have to save the registration number which we get after submitting that form. Application submitted well before the last date, because at the last moment there may be chances it will get submitted or not. So when you complete your report, just send it. Now, a few questions which are frequently asked. One is, can I apply again if you're already selected one? Yes, you can select, you can again submit your proposal, but it should have a different topic, not the similar one which you have previously submitted. Then you can collaborate with any other institute. If you collaborate with any other institute, then you have one co-guide. But mind one thing, that co-guide is not in the interest of the CCRH. CCRH is giving prime importance to the main guide, that the one who is from your institute. Then the IEC approval should be required from that institute. Then yes, one can publish your results in any reputed journal. Does CCRH automatically publish reports? No, students may identify a suitable journal and with their guide, and they can publish in any of the journal where they want to publish it. Is travel fellowship available? No, it is not available. When the stipend certificate sent? So as I already told you before, this February and March. So by this, I have compiled it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Preeti, for very clear and informative overview. I'm sure many of our students now have a much better understanding of what STSH is. And now that we have understand the program, the next question naturally is, where does the research project actually begin? It begins with an idea, but not every idea becomes a good research question. So how do we identify a meaningful research program and transform that idea into a scientifically sound research design? That brings us to our next session. Dr. Preeti, thank you so much once again.
Very thankful to you and the BHMS publishers. Thank you.
Absolutely. Our next speaker, Dr. Vishal Deshpande Venkat from JIMS Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, Telangana. He will take us through from research idea to research design, helping us understand how to move from curiosity and observation to a structured research program. Dr. Vishal, we are very happy to have you with us. Dr. Vishal, I request you to please start sharing, and over to you.
So, thank you, Dr. Noori. I am very much thankful to CCRH and Homeopathy 360 for giving this opportunity. So, today we will talk about research methodology in homeopathy. I will be just talking in relation to the outline related to all these aspects, because to cover from research to form a study design, it's a very big thing, but still I will try to cover it. So we will deal this topic about starting from introduction to research along with gaps and problems. Then how we should proceed with topic selection, what is literature search, what is research question, what is how we should define aims and objectives, what is hypothesis, study design, and then ethical considerations related to research in homeopathy. So research is nothing but it is just an organized curiosity. Every homeopath researches every day in a clinic by comparing, by observing the patients and making interpretations about the data which we receive from the patients. Then comparing multiple cases which we see, multiple cases of same disease which are treated with multiple remedies, then one remedy is curing multiple diseases. So this comparison we always do when we are doing the practice, and then at the end we are concluding that why this remedy has acted, whether and if not, why it is not acted, and at the end honestly recording all the outcomes. So this, whatever we get after doing all this exercise, this is nothing but an research which we needs to answer, and from this only the things they starts. So now about undergraduate research. So working on questions that don't have answers yet. This is a research, or this is the research at least for an undergraduate student. But this research should be done under a faculty mentor's guidance. Why mentoring is essential for undergraduate students is because mentor can inculcate a research skills in the undergraduate students, and it is an attempt to add something new to the field. So what research, what it helps to the researcher in or undergraduate research. So it inculcates research skills like learn to design, test, and defend an idea which he had in his mind. Then it gives a real world application to the students, because students, they are having theoretical knowledge, but how it meets to the patient demands, that they can do by doing the research. Then professional experience, rather I would like to see it as a professional discipline. Lot of people, they practice, but when we are doing the research, it should be done under a specific research specific
Dr. Vishal, I'm sorry to interrupt, but please share the screen, the slide relevant to the topic.
1 minute. Is it visible now?
It is visible. You have to enable editing and then you can slideshow, or you can simply go to that.
Next, types of researches we get. There are different types of researches we can have, like basic research.
Dr. Vishal, I'm so sorry, but it's not the slide is not showing.
Is it visible now?
It's visible, but I can only see the first slide. Please try clicking on enable editing. Let's see if you can do that.
Enable editing. Is it visible now?
The slide you want to talk about is not. Please click on the enable editing so that we can go to that. The yellow tab with protected view is asking for enable editing. If you can click on that, please. Yes, perfectly. Now we can see. So you can just simply click on the try another slide, sir. Yes, now you can do it. So you can simply click and we can see that. Yes, thank you.
So why to again under mentor, it develops a critical thinking and problem solving abilities in the student. So that's why we should make them to do the research. Now next comes to different research types. You will keep meeting. We can do a basic research in which we can see that how homeopathy work. Then in vitro studies can be done, where we can use a component of an organism, and this particular which is isolated from its biological environment, and this study can be done in the lab by using traditionally by using the glasswares. Then third important, that means what our undergraduates can do, that I'm talking about. So drug research can be done, where we can prove well proven remedies just to have an experience for the students, and we can prove lesser proven remedies so that students can get a lifetime experience. Then clinical research, this needs an immense amount of experience and precise knowledge of disease. Then integration or knowledge of integration, how the knowledge of homeopathic subjects meets with the knowledge of medicine. Next is fundamental research, testing Hahnemann's aphorisms with modern set of thoughts. Next type is experimental research or non-clinical research, where agrohomeopathy comes in the picture, and we see that in today's time, lot of avenues are open for this particular research. where you can see the effect of homeopathic medicines on plants, germination, increasing yield. So many things can be done. And last is preclinical experimental research, where these researches are conducted on the animals, and any medicine or anything which is to be tested on animals before it is to be tested on the human beings. So these are the different types of researches students can do. Then research gap, or we have to talk about, this is the most important point. A gap is the question nobody answered yet. See, when we practices, we have multiple questions or which are not so many times answered. Like first, why do we do this? Has anyone checked? Like we are giving arsenic in the cases of anxiety with restlessness, but we will never check it with a validated scale, and that's why we don't understand. Next, what's repeated in textbook but never tested? Like miasm theory, whether what is the physiological evidence or of a miasm theory, how generational inheritance occurs, how different potencies they act. So these things again, so many times they are unanswered for the students. Then what's common in your OPD but has zero literature? Like if we have in today's time, we have a lot of accidental findings when we do investigations, like fatty liver. It has been most common. We don't try to find what are the common remedies in homeopathy, what is their active principle, and by what avenues they act on, or they corrected this fatty liver. These also things are unanswered, which can be answered or can be explored. Then where do respected texts contradicts each other? This is also one avenue that needs to be explored. A research gap is that means what it is: interesting plus missing, but which can be checkable. And it is not just an opinion for a, but it should be investigated or it should be done. Now, main problem where we homeopaths struggles for acceptance for honest reasons, lack of empirical validations. Lot of research which has been done in homeopathy is based on personal opinions rather than facts and evidences. Then lot of researches or many studies which has been done, they are difficult to understand and interpret in comparison with the mainstream science, and which results in lack of validation of homeopathic research. Then individualized treatment plans. We have different remedies for different patients, which creates a lot of problems in designing the study, specifically all kinds of studies, but specifically RCTs, because which creates a lot of confusion. Then methodological and reporting flaws, lot of flaws we have on methodological part, like small sample size, poor blinding, poor randomization. Then reporting, which is given by the patient gives the information as per his understanding. Then there can be flaws on interpretation by physician part. Same with the data quality, as homeopathy depends more on the subjective information which is received from the patient. Patient gives that information as per his understanding. We have to confirm its authenticity. Again, there can be flaws on the interpretations in relation on the part of the physician. So that's all things they makes homeopathic research, or it creates a problems in homeopathic research. So what is the solution for that? We should have the evidence-based practices, rigorous designs, then standardized reporting and organized methodological protocols, like CCRH pursuing quality research over the antidote. So these are the gaps and problems in homeopathy. Now, next, what about research topic? This is a specific area of investigation which researcher want to investigate through a specific guidelines. But a lot of people's lot of fancies about doing research. But what a good topic is always finer. We need to see how we can, because just to have an idea is one thing, but to complete or to work on that idea is another thing. So first important point is that your research topic should be feasible. We should think whether we can do this as per the time which is provided and what are the resources available for us. Second, it should be interesting. Then that means because interest, if it is there, we will get motivated and we will do it in a better way. Then it should be novel. We should see whether it has been already done. Even if it is already done, what are the gaps in between that we should find out. Then ethical, can it be done without harming or misleading the patient? This is again one of the most important important aspect. And last is relevance. It should have the relevance related to your future plan. So this is about the how we can go for the construction of a selection of a research topic. Then next, what the research topic what we are selecting, we should see its difference in our practice also. So the for example, role of homeopathy in a disease, it's a too broad thing where we don't have control, we don't have a proper population, we are not measuring outcome. So that means we cannot assess whether it is success or failure. Nothing we will get from this. So specific and doable effect of individualized homeopathic treatment or in assessing frequency of migraine attacks in patients aged 20 to 40 before and after study. So this is specific population, specific intervention, specific outcome and realistic time frame. So that we can, this is a better doable thing as per the research topic. So 3 checks in this order we should always do when we are selecting a research topic. Again, the career relevance. So pick something that lines up with your where you are going to head or what you are going to do. It keeps you motivated when the work gets tedious. So same if you are going to in clinical practice, you should select clinical topics. If we, that depends what your career, what you are going to plan in the future. Then narrow your focus. So your interest should be broad, but what you are going to research should be a focused. Specific question should be there, specific enough to investigate deeply, broad enough that data actually exists. And last is originality. And so what gap doesn't it fills, who gets benefited, and how it gets benefited, that also should be seen when we are selecting a research topic. So the rule of thumb for this is a topic that interests only you, it can be or is your hobby, but the topic that fills a real gap in the field is a research. So that means we should always try to see what has been not done and what with which a profession can be benefited. So next, about the literature search, this has been the most important step before proceeding for the research. The foundation of quality research based on this literature search, check before you do it. So literature search is just deficiency, or it is unexplored area in the existing literature through which we can guide a research study. So literature search is how it helps you or what it gives you. So literature search, if it is done at its extent, it inform you about what has been already done in the particular area or what is known to the area, that we can understand by the research, by literature search. Then it helps us to identify the gaps. That means what has been done and what needs to be done, that we can know by literature search. Then it helps us to form a theoretical framework that guides you in the research study. Understand? So, and next, avoid duplicating research that's already done. So these are the things what a literature search helps us in. And next important, how to actually do it. Databases, keywords, balloon operators, we should have multiple coverage, and we should not rely on one search. So this is the systematicity in searching the literature. Then judge the source. Authenticity of the source is again one of the most important point in a literature search, because if we have wrong data, then all subsequent steps they can go wrong. Then organize as you do. So again, the most important step, the data collected should be analyzed, should be synthesized. A researcher should have clear perception about it, and this should be done while doing a research literature search, not after. So everything depends upon your literature review or literature search. Then next, how it should be done. So you should always check before you ask a new question. Lot of resources they are available for us. CCRH, Central Council for Research in Homeopathy, is having lot of publications, and they are all authentic resources which a researcher or undergraduate student or any researcher can use. Then IGRH, Indian Journal of Research in Homeopathy, PubMeds. Yes, homeopathic literature also exists there. Then Google Scholar, Broadfast, First Pass Search is there, Cochrane Library, systematic reviews and including negative findings. The most important is dissertation repositories. Lot of when it comes to dissertation repositories, lot of students neglect it. But here only the research gap is there, because lot of dissertations they have been submitted on one topic. If you are selecting a specific topic, you should go through the dissertations which has been published in that topic, and there the major flaws there lies or research gap lies. We should find it out and we should try to do a research study on that particular point. Then next comes the 4 steps in order how we should go for the literature search. So first, break into keywords, like if you are doing a search on individualized homeopathy and migraine, so you should break it into keywords like homeopathy, migraine, individualized treatment and outcome. Because next important step in that is search combinations. If you will put everything at once, you may not be able to get a proper literature. So the most important thing what you should do is you should formulate a combination search. Try each keyword pairing separately, like homeopathy and migraine, or migraine and individualized treatment, or outcome and migraine. So that way you can combine it and then you can search. Then it will be easy for you to get the appropriate data. Read the abstracts first, because abstract is the gist or core of the study by which you can understand the what has been done in that particular research paper. Note design, the size, population size, and the limitations. In the limitations of the study, major research gaps they have been there, from which you can proceed further with your research study. So research question is a specific area of investigation that researchers want to explore, analyze and address through a specific set of guidelines. Understand? So this is called as a research question. So to select a proper research question, we should always use a PICO. So answerable with data, not opinion. Population, what population you are going to select in your research study? Who is going to be selected? What age, what sex, what clinical condition or disease on which you are going to construct your research study. Then intervention, whether you are prescribing individualized homeopathy, whether you are going to prescribe a specific remedy, what approach you are going to apply. So that all comes under intervention. Next, comparison, because these are all measurable things. So compared to what? Whether you are comparing it with placebo, whether you are comparing it with another remedy, whether you are comparing before, after, or again uh, in between. So multiple things you can compare, but that should be specifically defined when we are formulating a research question. And at the end, outcome, what you are measuring, what scale, what investigations, what is the frequency of investigations. That all things matters when we are formulating a research question. Then this is an example of research question. Does homeopathy help in anxiety? This is a very vague question. You cannot measure anything, no control, no population, anything. But if we will apply a PICO on this population, you can select adults 18 to 14 with mild, moderate generalized anxiety. Then individualized homeopathic treatment, intervention. Then see on baseline, that means before, after, which or wait list group, and hum score at 12 weeks. Because again we have to talk about at what frequency the scores are going to be considered. So final research or question, what is the effect of individualized homeopathic treatment on hum score in adults aged 18 to 14 with mild to moderate general anxiety disorders over 12 months. So this is a specific final research question which you can formulate, and it is a it includes everything, that is population, intervention, control and outcome. So next coming to the development or developing aims and objectives. Aim is the destination and objectives are the path for the destination, or these are the steps involved. So aim is always a broader entity to study the effect of individualized homeopathy on migraine frequency. So this is a broader thing what we need to aim at. So one sentence, but it gives a broader picture or big picture. Next, objectives: assess baseline migraine frequency and severity using a diary, validated or daily diaries. Then administer individual homeopathic treatment, compare pre and post treatment frequency, and identify the most frequently indicated remedies in the particular study groups. So this way, aims and objectives, they can be formulated for any research study. Then next comes formulation of hypothesis. Hypothesis is a clear, testable statement predicting the relation between variables in the study. Understand? So what you are going to measure, what are the variables, an educated guess written so it can be proven wrong. So null hypothesis, there is no difference or effect. So it proposes that there is no relationship between effect. And alternative hypothesis, it proposes that there is a definite relation. So here what we have to, by hypothesis, we are not here to prove that homeopathy works. What we have to test is whether null hypothesis is correct, or it is rejected using your data. So that means we can, as a homeopath, we can be believer in homeopathy. But when we apply a hypothesis, it separates a believer to a researcher. And this is the most important point, because what we believe that may not be always true, and hypothesis will help you to rectify that. Now next is the research design. Sorry, study designs. So study design is a structured framework which talks about how the study will be conducted, which includes data collection, analysis, measurement, everything. So if a study design is formed, a research study should proceed as per the particular study design. Here some examples are given about the what are different types of study designs, when it is to be used, and its homeopathic example. A case report, one rare oblique interesting case, you can use this particular design, eczema cured with sulfur, single document. This is a just example. Then case series, multiple similar cases where no comparison has been done. You can use 5 to 15 cases of any clinical condition or anything. Then cross-sectional studies, snapshots, prevalence. When you have to measure prevalence rates, you have to establish associations, miasmatic background prevalence in thyroid patients. Cohort study, follow group over time, daily bacillum, and tracker respiratory infections. Case control study, compare disease versus healthy, look backward. Family history of allergies, eczema patients. Randomized control trials, they are gold standard, they test effectiveness. So homeopathy versus placebo in any clinical condition, diabetes, allergy, that depends on the area of your interest. Drug proving establishes a new remedy pictures, modern proving of plant or lesser proven remedies, they also can be proved. Systematic reviews to summarize existing studies. So these are the different research designs. They can be used depending on your purpose. So this is the next slide which talks about the purpose, what you want to do, that decides the selection of your study design. So ask this one question first. Do you want to describe something, compare something, or predict something? So that's what I'm talking. What is your purpose? That will decide your selection of a study design. If you want to describe, select case report, case series, or cross-sectional studies. Compare, case control, or randomized control trials. Predict or follow something, you can use a cohort studies. So this is about a construction of a study design and its use. Then ethical considerations. In today's time, it is very essential that we have to follow strict ethical guidelines, and that's why institutional ethical committee approvals, they needs to be taken before starting any research study. So from every patient, informed consent should be derived, and patient should know what he has been getting, what problems it can create, or what side effects it can cause, and this should be known to the patient without losing his treatment. Then confidentiality, every researcher or investigator should maintain an adequate amount of confidentiality about all kinds of patients' data. They should not be revealed to anyone without a prior permission. Lot of rules they have been developed for this now. Then IEC approval is essential, because internal ethical committee is the regulating body about the rights of the patients. That's why that approval is essential. Patient safety first, never withhold necessary treatment to keep a study pure. So this happens so many times. If we are having some medication giving, patient comes for some other treatment, during follow-up we have prescribed some other remedy. So these informations they can be kept aside, not to have any mm, uh, changes in the inferences, but we have to look on the patient safety, and that should be reported properly to the regulating bodies. Then honest reporting, publish negative results to hiding them is a dishonest research, and no plagiarism or fabricated work. So these are the ethical considerations that needs to be followed when we are following any research study or when we are doing any research study. Quick recap what we have seen up till now. Introduction to research, organized curiosity proven, not just belief, research gap, interesting plus missing plus checkable. Topic selection, finer, feasible, interesting, novel, ethical and relevant. Literature search, check before you ask. Lot of references, they are available which gives high quality reference or relevance. Research question, PICO should be used. Aims and objectives, aim is a destination and objectives are the steps. Hypothesis, a educated guess that can be proven wrong. Study designs and ethical considerations. So last but not least, homeopathy isn't short on results, it's short on documentation of those results. So every case you write up properly, every question you frame with PICO, every hypothesis you are willing to let fail, that's one back in building homeopathy's evidence base. And so many times it has been said we are lacking in evidence. We have enough proofs or we have enough documentation that it works, but it has been not documented and evidences are not being properly maintained. So this is the flaws on our part, which is creating a lot of problems. So thank you very much for giving this opportunity to present this particular topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vishal, for that insightful session. I'm sure our students have taken away some very practical lessons on how to convert an initial research idea into a meaningful and workable research design. And now comes another crucial stage. Having a good research idea is one thing, communicating that idea effectively through a well written research proposal is another. So, how do we put that all together? For this session, we have Dr. Neerav Ganatra, Assistant Professor in the Department of Organon of Medicine at LR Shah Homeopathic Medical College, Rajkot, Gujarat. He's also the Research Committee Coordinator. Dr. Neerav will be speaking on writing, reviewing, and submitting research proposal. This is a session you definitely want to pay attention to. Dr. Neerav, thank you for joining us today. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am, for providing such an wonderful opportunity. And today, in this session, we're also going to see how to write a structured winning STSH research proposal, a structural roadmap from conceptualization to the final submission. So what would be the things which would be we have to take into the consideration? All the things we'll be seeing into this particular proposal. So the core pillars of the STSH evaluation are the three things: feasibility, scientific rigor, and compliance. Feasibility, for drafting the proposal, you are going to get, you have been 2 months, that is the month of July and August. After the selection process and the results being announced in the December, the final report submission is to be submitted into the September of the next year. So the process starts from the final step itself. So how you are going to select a particular title or particular study, that depends that are you going to able to finish that particular research in 9 months period? Are you going to get all the things done in that particular 9 months period? Because here you are not going to get a full 1 year for as we get in the dissertation completion and the synopsis completion of the MD BHMS and all, here you are having a time period of 9 months itself. So in those 9 months, you have to conduct the research itself. You also have to get your statistical analysis done. You have to get your all the final results also to be done, and the whole report is to be submitted in the month of the September. 30th September is the last date for submission of that final report. So we have to select the title, we have to select the research study in first case in the feasibility criteria, that are we going to complete that into the feasible time period or not. Second is scientific rigor. Is the methodology clinically sound, and is the sample size statistically justified? In this presentation, we are also going to see that how to calculate the sample size. General sample size method is being explained over here in detail. We can take it into the next session also, or we will be sending it into your query session. And last one, that is the compliance. Does the text strictly adhere to the mandated word counts, formatting styles, and absolute anonymity rules or not? This also three things are the pillars, core pillars for the STSH evaluation. Proposal anatomy, which Dr. Preeti Jha and Sir has also been explained, that title should be having maximum 25 words, introduction and literature review, maximum 300 words, which would be including the context, the gap, the rationale, and the objectives limited to maximum 100 words, primary and secondary bullet points, methodology, maximum 800 words, and the core engine of your proposal. This will be going to explain us that how the research is to be carried out in that 9 month period, implications, whatever the research we are going to carry out, so what factor. That is, whatever is your concept, whatever is your proposal, whatever is your research, what it is going to give out to the society. So all these things, and at the last, references, that is the bibliography. Taking one by one the things. First one is the high impact title. A winning title must explicitly declare the core variables, the target population, the study design, and all those into that 25 words constraint. Avoid vague cataphrases, that is, a study on diabetes in local clinics. Instead, it should include what just earlier the sir has said, that is PICO, that is population, intervention, core communities, and outcome. So here, assessment of medication, adherence, and glycemic control among type 2 diabetes mellitus patient, a hospital-based cross-sectional study. So here, core variables have also been taken into the consideration. The target population on which we are going to take our study, that has also been explained, and the study design, a hospital-based cross-sectional study. We can the study design, which Madam has also explained in the earlier session, and Sir has also explained various study designs. Those we have studied in this session has also to be mentioned into the title. So again, taking that consideration, title must be including patient or population, intervention, comparison, and outcome. All these factors, comparison, or we can also take core values or core aspects into the title. Here we can see assessment of medication adherence and glycemic control. That is our outcome of the study among type 2 diabetes mellitus patient. That is the population of our study. Type of the study, that is hospital-based cross-sectional study. So this is a winning formulation, that how a title should be there within the 25 word limits. It should include all these four parameters and ultimately will be the title of your study. Next is the introduction. 300 words introduction is a very limited aspect in which you have to explain all the available aspect, that is the based thing, that is the hook, the global and national burden of the clinical condition. For example, allergic rhinitis, then we have to give the epidemiology of whatever the cases or medical conditions pertaining to the allergic rhinitis globally and at the national level also. The anchor, that is the current literature consensus and historical context also. If we are going to explain any new formulations, if we are going to explain any kind of new, we can say the mode of routes of administration of the drugs, then that also need to be explained or compared with the help of the historical context. And the final comes the gap, what remains unknown, controversial, or unexamined locally. All these things should be taken into consideration, and valid undergraduate gaps would be lack of localized regional data, evaluation of new diagnostic tool versus a standard protocol, assessment of post-pandemic behavioral shifts, and we need not to discover a new molecule, but we need to establish the evidence-based studies of the already established molecules, structuring objectives as a binding legal contract. The smart construct is the objective, as well as whatever the sir has also explained, the smart aspect. The objective should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and more, we can say, expected over here in this aspect is time bound. It should be in the maximum 100 words. All the objectives should be into the formation of bullet points, not into the, we can say, a paragraph aspect. It should be to estimate, to compare, and never use passive words like to understand, to estimate, to evaluate, to assess, to compare, to identify. These kind of words should be used in the objectives, and that should be taken into the bullet points. To understand, also, that is a very passivable word. Primary objective and secondary objectives division should be done in the case of the objectives. The primary objective would be considered as like the aim of the study. It should be the singular overarching the question of the study answers. Example, to estimate the prevalence of vitamin D deficiency among pregnant women. And secondary objective should be like limited to one or two exploratory association to correlate vitamin D levels with maternal dietary habits, like that way. So objective should be classified into two heads. That is primary objective and secondary objective. Here they have not given the heading as aims and objectives. We have to strictly stick together to the proposal format that has been given. So taking as objectives into the consideration, word limit 100 is the word limit, and it should be divided into two parts, that is primary objectives and secondary objectives. Objective serves as the legal contract of the study, so it should be structured properly like bullet points only, never narrative paragraphs. Smart criteria it should be applied, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Active words and passive framing should be avoided. Separate overarching goals from exploratory association, like objective collaborations, calibration should be done. The example which we had taken, that primary objective, it should be singular always. It should be endpoint of the study to design to the answer, to estimate the prevalence of vitamin D deficiency among pregnant women, whereas different levels can be taken into the secondary objectives. Now moving onward to the methodological framework. Methodological framework should be including into the 800 words itself, not more than 800 words. So starting with the study designs, epidemiological study design is there, or which kind of study design should be taken into the consideration. Explicitly declares the framework. Examples are cross-sectional studies, case control, prospective, observational, validation study. Retrospective studies are generally avoided because as they do not give much output to the society from these research cases. Setting, that is the design setting, study setting and the temporal frame, define the exact physical and chronological boundaries, that the tertiary care, that is hospital outpatient department or a hospital inpatient department, or the peripheral OPD areas of the collegiate hospital, which is being attached to the college itself, and over what time period it takes place. This section initiates the 800 word core. Mathematical justification for statistical power. Now here comes the thing which asking that how to calculate sample size, how to calculate sample size. So here is the Cochrane formula that is required for the sample size calculation. This is the most general aspect. The sample size calculation formulas are different on the basis of the different studies. But because of the time constraint, we cannot take all the sample size formulations. But we are taking a very basic thing that is that can be applied into most of the research protocols, that is sample size calculation by the Cochrane's formula. Numbers cannot be pulled out like anything out of there, that if I feel that okay, chalo, 20 cases I will take into the consideration, or 10 cases I will take into the consideration. That is not a proper way of calculation of the sample size. Sampling strategy, it should be explicitly defining how participants are physically selected from the clinical population. Convenience sampling, consecutive sampling, or simple random sampling are the most frequently used sampling methods. Sample size calculation formula breakdown I have taken out over here, where n is the required sample size, z is the standard normal deviation, that is the z score, which corresponds to our desired confidence level. Now, what is confidence level? Confidence level is the confidence level of the researcher regarding his particular research output. If I'm particularly taking the diabetes study, which example which we had taken for earlier, that I am sure for 99% that my study is going to give the particular output, then it would be 2.96 value. The whole reference values are also given for the confidence level. If I'm studying that I am 95% confidence that no, this my study would be have 5 plus or minus 5% variation in the result, then my Z value would be the 1.96. So according to the based on the confidence level, the sample size calculation would be taken into the consideration. P is the estimated proportion of an attribute present in the population. That can also expressed as a decimal value also. Expected proportion and the complementary probability calculated as 1 minus P, which is expressed as Q. If we have a baseline study, we will be using its prevalence rate, that is 20% or 0.20. But if we have no prior data, we will be using a particular case of 50%. This provides the maximum variability and the results in the safest, largest sample size. Statistical analysis at the undergraduate level or into the STSH proposal is, though having a very important aspect, but it should be taken into the consideration with the help of the guide also. Precision or margin of the error, maximum, most commonly it is taken, D is taken as 0.05, that is a 5%, which we discussed over your 95% confidence and all. 1% margin of error, if it is there, then it is 0.01. So this is about the sample size calculation. Also, we saw about the sampling method, how you are going to take the cases from the sample size. That is, if you're taking 30 patients, then how those 30 patient selection will be done. So that can be on the basis of convenience sampling, that if the patients are available or according to the particular aspect, then we will be taking it into the from the OPD itself. Consecutive sampling, that I'm taking consecutive numbers. First patient, third patient, fifth patient, seventh patient, or even aspect, second patient, fourth patient. Or if I have taken into the consideration a date, particularly 12, 22, 32, 42, all these numbers, or simple random sampling. Any of the random case I am taking into the consideration. So sampling methods and sample size calculation, these are the very important aspect for the methodology point of view. Then comes about the exclusion and inclusion criteria. Exclusion criteria removes the specific confounding variables, the in versus out filter. After taking the sample size, general patients, it goes under the inclusion criteria, and then comes the exclusion criteria. Inclusion criteria helps us the entry rules, the clinical or demographic baseline, example, patients aged 18 to 60 with confirmed diagnosis for 6 months. Exclusion criteria, conditions compromising data safety or skewing results. Skewing is the very important aspect which we need to take into the consideration while taking the inclusion and exclusion criteria. All these things, then we take the discard box, that is the exclusion criteria is the discarding box, and out of the selected consideration, 50% of the cases will be drawn out of the case, and finally clean data set will be available. Exclusion is never simply the inverse of inclusion. Many things are to be taken into the consideration, like pathological cases, or we can say the cancerous development of metastasis of the particular aspect. Exclusion criteria is the very important filter to select the cases, or we can say to select the considered aspect of the sample size calculation. So all these things are very important aspect. Exclusion criteria helps to filter out the unwanted skewers of the results of our cases or research protocol. Now, how to collect the data? The data collection follows a strict replicable clinical pathway. Consent of the patient is to be taken. Then tool application, that is standardized questionnaires, validated scores, charts, specific lab assays. Questionnaires if are to be filled up by the patient, because all those questionnaires and the score charts will be helpful in the to find out the outcome of the study before and after of the research protocol. Then measurement, that is parameters, enumerate the exact clinical markers. For case of the diabetes, we can take the clinical markers like RBS, HbA1c, PPBS, FBS. So all these clinical markers should be identified first of all itself. Physical measurements for the cases of allergic reaction, IgE should be taken into the consideration. Demographic fields also should be taken into the aspect. Finally, a whole database of the patient will be structured out. And in the follow-up cases, or we can say the result output will be totally based upon this database. So here again, it is being explained. The standard operating procedure should be followed. Detail the participant's clinical journey. Right, it is like a replicable recipe that itself enumerate validated score charts, lab essays, and all. Data processing should be done. That is by software environment like SPSS, which would be helpful in the statistical analysis also. Descriptive statistics should be done, and finally the inferential statistics with the help of the scores, or we can help of the correct test, that is chi-square test for categorical associations, t-test or ANOVA for continuous means. Categorical association like is when we are getting the data in the categories that 50 patients were taken off blood group A, 50 patients were taken from blood group B, like that way. Or it is in the continuous mean. HbA1c is 9.5, 9.6, 9.7, like that way. So if it is a continuous data set, then we are going to use t-test. If it is the categorical aspect, we can be using chi-square test. So this is the whole step-by-step analysis. Here is again, you can take the screenshot of this aspect also, which would be helpful, that what kind of data type we have got and what kind of inferential test we can use into it. So if continuous data, again descriptive statistics, categorical data, then again descriptive, categorical associations, then this chi-square test. Significance baseline is the final golden rule, that is p-value should be less than 0.05 as statistically significant. Non-negotiable ethical regards. Three things we have to take into the consideration. Any research protocol except the plant ones here in the STSH aspect needs institutional ethics committee approval. An explicit written commitment in the proposal to be obtained formally IC approval before initiating any data collection. Informed consent form to be filled by the patient, which accompanies patient information sheet. First of all, the patient is given a patient information sheet, which would be helpful to get idea about the research protocol to patients. And after reading the patient information sheets, a newly signed informed consent form is to be attached along with the case paper. And the data privacy, strictly de-identification of the patient metric should be taken into the consideration, and guaranteed storage of records in password protected encrypted environments should be taken. So these are the scientific tone prioritization and maintain absolute clinical objectivity, strip all the emotional descriptors and transitional fluff. It should be totally research oriented. Draft, if we are taking the words like the terrible and devastating burden of stroke, it should be modified to the high morbidity and mortality rates associated with the strokes. We are not writing an essay, we are structuring a proposal for it. Due to the fact that narrow it down into the because or either, like that kind of words, because the word limit is to be strictly followed. Here is again one more example that the previous study demonstrated increased efficacy. However, localized data remains limited. Citations should be done. That first sentence is being referred from this particular book. Second statement has been referred from this particular book. Like this way, numerical sequences based on the chronological appearance into the introduction and into the various aspects should be taken into the consideration. Anonymity mandate is there that we need to strictly follow, that is zero disclosure. Mock proposal, text proposal, this study will be conducted in Department of Medicine at particular XYZ Medical College under the guidance of this should be totally avoided. Why? If you are going to get the identity of the institute or the guide or the department, then it is going to be hampered the rules and regulations of the STSH that you are getting the proposal identified. Do not write your name, your guide's name, your department, or your college name anywhere inside the proposal. The reviewers will utilize a strict double-blind process, and including identifying markers will result in the immediate automated disqualification without the review of your proposal. Solution is rely strictly on system-generated reference IDs, on documented headers. You will be getting a particular ID when you're doing the registration. So that is also to be avoided. Only just keep it into the particular research format which has been given. And the final submission aspects, all the things which you need to upload. Two things you are going to upload. Three things actually you are going to upload if it is not a plant study. If you're going to do the plant study, then only two things. First and foremost, that is AAF form, that is application attestation form that you have to upload. And second is the proposal. Proposal should be compiled with the whole three things: blank case forms or record forms, patient information sheets, then any kind of missing an annexure, that is any scale you are using, then any questionnaire you are using, sample informed consent forms, standardized scales and questionnaires, all should be merged into one aspect. First of all, proposal, then blank case record form, patient information sheets, then annexures from the methodology, the consent forms, and standardized scales. Whole thing should be compiled into one single PDF in the proposal form, and it should be uploaded into the registration form in proposal tab. But remember, the proposal should be the first one. Then all the things should be taken into the consideration: blank case record forms, patient information sheets, annexures, consent forms, and scales and questionnaires. So these are the required inclusions which I have already stated out. These things should be taken into the very much consideration. 5 drafts that detail the valid proposal, portal truncation, strictly word limits should be followed: 300, 100, 800, 100, and last also the references should be included into it. That should be also again into the one cover style. Mismatch logic, outlining an objective but failing to designate its corresponding statistical test. You are telling that we will be looking up into the biomarkers, or we are looking up into the healthy living being things of the diabetes mellitus patient, and you're not including the WHO life healthcare questionnaire or improvement in lifestyle questionnaire, or you're not using any kind of statistical test into it, then it is again failing. Over ambitious scope, that is, which is not taking, which we also know that in 9 months period it is not going to cure the case, and then you are taking that particular topic, then it is surely, from the title itself, it will be derailed. Plagiarism, it is AI plagiarism is also been taken up into the consideration, incomplete annexures and all. So this is the interlock system. This a well-structured proposal guarantees a smooth execution and the clinical clarity in writing, and the ultimate reflection of the clarity in scientific thought. With this is the checklist. Constraint check, all the word limit is there. Anonymity check, no identifiers should be included. Title check, variables, population, all under 25 words. Methodology check, all the statistical tests, course, questionnaires, and finally the citation check, one course sequence is followed or not. With this, I end my presentation. Thank you for your patient hearing. Any kind of queries will be taken up at the end of the session. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nirav. That was a very valuable session, particularly because writing a proposal is often where a good research idea either takes shape or gets lost. I hope our students will use these insights not only for STSH but throughout their academic and professional research journey. But research doesn't end when the proposal gets approved. In fact, that's where the real work begins. What happens after the proposal is approved? That takes us to our next session. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. P.R. Sisir, Professor, Head Research Guide, Department of Pediatrics and STSH Coordinator at Sada Krishna Homeopathic Medical College, Kanyakumari, Tamil Nadu. Dr. Sisir will speak on successful execution of an STSH research project. With his experience as an STSH coordinator and research guide, this session will give our students valuable insights into what happens from project approval to successful completion. Sir, thank you for being with us. Thank you, Dr. Neerav.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for inviting me, especially to the BJ group, and special mention about the Homeopathy 360, because I'm the second time I'm coming for a presentation to this, and to special mention about the Jain sir and the group of people over there. Myself, Dr. P.R. Shishir from the Department of Pediatrics and STSH coordinator in our college. So first of all, let me thank the persons like Dr. Preeti, Dr. Vishal, and Dr. Neerav, because they have given sufficient information about the STSH. And what I should tell is actually, just a minute. What I should tell is simply about what a STSH student should do right from the beginning once it has been declared. That means once it has been announced by the CCRH. Hope my PowerPoint presentation is visible.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, thank you. And we would never forget this great personality who has given us all this opportunity on this great system of medicine. And my topic is given by the BGN or the Homeopathy 360 is a successful execution of an STSH research project. Hope I'm audible.
Yes,
also.
sir, you are.
Okay, thank you. So this is the topic, and my maximum concentration of this presentation is on the newcomers, that is the second BHMS students of the entire India, whoever has joined for this program, because they are the people who does not know what is the real way of handling an STSH research project. So very simply, I'll be presenting, because I am very eagerly waiting for Dr. who is said to come, that is our respected Chadarbhuj Naik sir. Hope he will be joining with us, because he is one of the mentor of our institute, and he is a great person as far as I know, as far as research is concerned. Okay, so let me go on. The word of gratitude to all those who have joined here, including the those who have presented. Special mentioning to the BJN group, the Homeopathy 360 organizers. And the significance of the topic of STSH is that every graduate student should know how it is executed. So that's important. So thanks to the Homeopathy 360 for organizing this program, even though it is very late night. I don't know how many of you will be listening at this particular moment also. The plan of presentation is very simple. I'll be giving you what is going on in our institute and what is to be done by an STSH student. That is the plan of presentation. And my presentation will not be extended too much also. Let them ask. I will be very free to give them an answer. Should never forget certain persons. There is a brief history on the initiation of STSH. I hope none of the previous presenters have done this, because it started in 2014. STSH program was officially launched and initiated in 2014 by the Central Council of Research in Homeopathy, CCRH, to build research aptitude among the students. This has never happened before 2014. So we have to appreciate the CCRH in introducing a program like this for the undergraduate students. Why they have done this? To build a research aptitude among them, teach research methodology, which is never taught before. Now the new NCC regulation has introduced in the preventive medicine, the community medicine department is research methodology, but the students from second year onwards is able to understand about research methodology since 2014. So to inspire the scientific inquiry, we have to ask, because there is very less research that is going on in homeopathy. So the students should inquire about what is to be done scientifically to prove homeopathy is very effective. And all these things are done to our undergraduate BHMS students across India. It was Dr. R.K. Manchanda, the former CCR. So I should surely mention this great personality. Hope I am audible. My internet connection is having some problem. Madam? Madam, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So my respectful regards to Dr. Manchanda sir, because he was a person who just initiated in 2014 this great program for the students. And no one thought at that time that this will become a wonderful program for the undergraduate students, even in this particular 2026, which will still develop. So this has been carried out very well by Dr. Anil Khurana. After that period of time, once Rajkumar Manchanda has been taken to another responsibility, while Anil Khurana sir has taken responsibility after 2020. And now, as all of you know, Dr. Subhash Kaushik, the great personality, the present, who has taken enormous steps and never went behind in bringing this STSH project, or I call it totally as a scholarship project for the students, because we have a STSH project for the graduates and also for the MD quality dissertation for the have their own methodology in doing this work. So I am very happy that Subhash Kaushik and team has invited me a few years back to improve the STSH project once she has joined as a CCRS director. So all of these persons were particularly very much interested in developing the CCRH, scholarship projects in higher level. And Dr. Subhash Kaushik, I really mention him for inviting all the colleges, different colleges from India, especially government colleges from Nehru Homeopathy Medical College, National Institute of Homeopathy, and also our institute, the only private college which has been. And I got the opportunity to speak during that occasion and give my suggestions for an STSH project. So over to the steps which has been very important for the undergraduate students from second year onwards. What they have to do in stage 1 is sending the proposal to CCRH as per their guidelines for entering into the shortlist. Because all the previous presenters have told about the guidelines. So the guidelines are very important, and CCRH will accept only if we are presenting as per their guidelines. And you have to remember in this point, none of these things are to be printed and no other copies. Everything is online. So the stage 2 is very important. Once you have uploaded, you have to become a research aspirant on being shortlisted. First thing that will come to you is the shortlisting of what is to be, what you have uploaded in the proposal. So the proposal is so important that they will be going through the title, which has been mentioned previously by the previous presenters, and also the methodology, the aim, the objective and methodology in which you are doing, and how much homeopathic research is developing after the proposal, or once the proposal has been accepted by them. We have to see that the CCRS people expecting that homeopathy is developed after the research. So full importance is given to the homeopathic system of medicine for your topic. So the topic should be in such a manner that it should be shortlisted. Then third step is to do the research as per the objectives and methodologies mentioned in the proposal. You have to go to a few pages. I think it is the page number 9 on the proposal on the rules and regulations, where you have to do the research as per the objectives and methodology mentioned in the, because you should never go out of the way of the proposal. From this level onwards, as previously mentioned, we have to think about getting the IEC, that is Institutional Ethical Committee clearance. Unless and until you get that, you should not start the topic, whether it is animal or it is a clinical work. You have to get that approval and start doing the research. So it should be done as per the objectives and methodology mentioned in the proposal. That means first time what you are doing to be going. Analyzing the results and preparing the research done. Analyzing the results and preparing the research done by them. Okay. So that is a very important aspect where we have to seek the support of the researchers in the college, and also analysis can be done wonderfully by the statisticians in the college, and simultaneously the student will also learn how to do an analysis and how to do a statistical analysis in a undergraduate level itself. So that's a very important aspect which CCRH has introduced for the students to work out. It is a very small and short project, but the student will start learning, and they will start learning how to prepare the research article or the research proposal, that is final research thing, that they will learn how to prepare that. And that is a very important aspect, because the entire methodology that you have done, the entire evidence that you have done in the research should be uploaded carefully. And stage number 5 is submission of the final project as per guidelines to the CCRH. It will take almost 1 year for the person to reach this particular process, which has been already mentioned by the previous presenters about the months and when to complete the research. And this stage number 4 can be completed by, I think, by September. The next month is the time in which the previous year's person will be submitting their proposal. Likewise, they are completely maintaining the timeline of the research. The final submission, as per the guidelines of CCRH, everything is online, no paperwork is there. And stage number 6 is the most happy moment of an institute, where the evaluation and declaration of the scholarship final results by the CCRH. So these are the 6 steps which goes on within a year for every year since 2014. Now the topic, practical aspects of implementation. Process of giving information to the concerned students. Once it is declared by the CCRH, we have to go, what we do in our institute is we go to each and every classroom with the permission of the principal, with the permission of the academic coordinator, and we will tell the students about the importance of the, otherwise none of the students will come for this program. Practically, that's what I want to tell you. We have to go to each and every class and convince them the importance of homeopathic research and what is needed tomorrow in homeopathy is very important, and you have to convince them. So that is the most important step. And students who get convinced will surely come and give their interest. So we will be having a form, the first level initial form, which we have created in our college, where the student will agree for doing the work. So we have to convince the student on research thoughts in homeopathy, that we can do it with the help of the faculty members, those who can speak about research, and also personalities, experts from the research wing. That is, we have a research department now, as far as a new regulation is concerned, new NCH regulations concerned. So people from there, and also we can outsource persons in the research community who are giving them good thoughts on the research. This is to be very importantly done by every college for the students. So the most important problem with the student is that the student will be having lots of work in their own classrooms. Second year student will have sufficient work. Third year have their own work. Examinations will come. Term tests will come. But in spite of that, parallelly, we have to make them do this work and make them understand that this is very important for homeopathy. And once you reach internship and post-graduation, this will help you a lot. So somehow we have to completely convince the students on research. So we have to give them, that means the research aspirants, special classes by the research experts, which I told now. And a very important process is selection of guides. Selection of guide is a very important process because now presently I am telling about the present status. Every full-time faculty member in the college can completely guide 2 students. I repeat once again, every faculty member, irrespective of they are a professor or associate or a assistant professor, they can guide 2 students at a time. Okay, for example, there are 50 faculty members in the college who are permanent. That means guest faculty cannot become a guide. A temporary faculty cannot become a guide. A full-time, that is very clearly mentioned by the CCRH regulation. So the guide, for example, there are 50 faculty members in an institute. 100 students can participate in the research for submitting their proposal at the first level. So that every, and I hope every institute in India knows that every faculty can guide 2 students at a time. And probably one more point is there, that particular faculty should not have any relationship, like the student is a father of a faculty or a mother or any other close relative is not allowed to become a guide. The third important step is fixing the topic as per their interest. This is a very important part. As per their interest, under the guidance of the assigned faculty, which is who is a guide. So what we do in our institute is, the principal will be declaring the guide name, which will be given to the STSH coordinator and the research wing. And thereafter, we will be having what we call a selection of the guides to each student with a lot. No student is selected by the teacher. Student is selected in a lot in a meeting conducted with all the faculty members, and finally 2 students each are given as per their seniority. And if, for example, 60 teachers are there, 120 students can be given guideship. So guide is a very important aspect as far as practically in many colleges which we have heard, the faculty members are not agreeing for becoming a guide. So as far as my institute is concerned, Sarada Krishna Homeopathy Medical College is concerned, the principal insists on every faculty member who are permanent to become a guide. So he will be giving a circular, and fortunately, all the guides agree to become a guide, and that is how we give maximum number of proposals to the CCRH since not from the beginning. In 2014, it was only an initial level. In spite of that, our students were selected, which I will come to that in the later slides. Okay. So data collection documentation is the next topic which I am supposed to tell you. Utilizing the college central library resource, because the students are 100% in the classrooms. That's very important. Practically, how they can do all these things. The student enters in our institute at 8:30 or in some college at 9 o'clock, and they will be in the college at least up to 4:30 or 5. And the central library should remain open after that time also, so that they will utilize that. But nowadays, the students are completely depending on the artificial intelligence and also on the search engines. So they have to be trained on that also, especially second year students who does not know anything should be very clearly given idea about the search engines for identifying the resources. What the students unfortunately do now is that if they get some sort of idea about one particular disease condition, for example, a clinical student, and they come across from the faculty member a particular homeopathic medicine, they will upload this to the AI tool, and automatically, unfortunately, I will tell you that unfortunately, to some extent it is fortunate. Unfortunately, they will get the entire proposal done by them, even up to the level of a PhD proposal. So that does not work out for a STS student. they have to edit it conveniently as per their study and do the work. So they have to keep in touch with their guide and the entire research experts to convert the particular. We cannot let them not to go to the AI nowadays. So they will be going. So when we were doing in 2014 and 20 and all, we had to work a lot on the proposal prepared by the students. But nowadays, the student will be coming out with such a big, what we call a proposal, that we become so astonished how they have prepared. So the CCRH will be very careful in identifying that how a STS student has prepared this. The student should be very careful. Faculty or the guide also should be very careful in the proposal prepared, because CCRH people are so intelligent that they can identify all these things very clearly, because I know majority of the people, those who are evaluating this particular proposals in different parts of India, even though we do not communicate with any of them, but we know that the process is going on in different central CCRH institutes by the experts. So they are very much experts in all these things, and the students should be very careful in preparing the proposal. So healthy discussions can be done among the senior researchers who have already done STSH programs. That is a very important interaction. Student can be very free by asking the senior students. Senior researchers means, I mean the senior research STSH student, those who have won the match. Interaction with guide or faculty and research department experts. It's a very important process. Once everything is ready, you have to interact with the guide. There should not be a single moment where the guide is not knowing what is done by the student. That we are very much strict about doing the research project. The guide is a very important person. That is, the faculty is a very important person, and student is given full information about the guide's importance. And of course, to making it fine-tuned, the research department experts will have to make the corrections. All faculty members may not be able to correct that, the fine-tuning, but only guide them. The research department can guide them, and also there may be different varieties of work done by them. As far as we know, the plant studies are done, which we call as agrohomeopathy is done, and some students may, even though difficult, may go for animal study. And the most important study which I tell the students is clinical study. So clinical study is very important, but they have to select a particular clinical study in which the work can be done within the short period of time. And that means which we call in research terms as the feasibility of the study. Feasibility of the study also depends on the patient availability in the hospital. So hospital will be sufficiently available with the particular disease condition in which they are doing on, or they are planning to do, and availability of the homeopathic medicine. Sometimes the student will be coming with very rare homeopathic drugs in such a manner that this medicine will not be available. They will find out from somewhere some homeopathic medicine for some condition, and they come out with that drug, and finally, if they are selected, they may not get this particular drug. There were students in the history that they could not do this work due to the non-availability of the homeopathic drug from the pharmaceuticals. That's a very important aspect. And the same thing some students do on cell line study. And for cell line study, the research areas, it is done in research departments which we outsource. Our institute is having some MOU with research institutes in different parts of Tamil Nadu and Kerala, and those institutes are to be approached to identify whether the cell line study can be done by them. Unless and until they are agreeing for doing the study, the student should not fix a topic. And how much totality is there in such works, we are not supposed to inquire into too much. Anyway, some sort of homeopathy is there in it also. We are not going to talk about that. Then proper documentation of the collected data is also very important. They have to go to all resources and finally come to the conclusion of what they're planning to do and do the documentation very well on their laptop. And one more point which I want to tell is, maximum students insist on doing the entire work on their mobile phone, which is not a good process. They have to use the computer, PC, or their laptop for doing the work. completely aligned with the uploading aspects. So finally, the most important aspect is preparing the research proposal as far as the present 2026 students are concerned. Told you have to be very careful in selecting the topic, in selecting the medicine in which you are going to do with homeopathy, and also see that this particular work will help the society in developing the homeopathic system of medicine. So the preparing the research proposal is also, and you have to follow the guidelines as per the CCRI, which is mentioned in the proposal, in the rules and regulations of the CCRH. A small mentioning, it's not a boasting, and small mentioning about our institute's presentation of the SKHMC student, the SKHMC Sharda Krishna Medical College, awarded with CCRH since 2014. So all of you should remember 2014, no one knew about this. Majority of the colleges in India never knew that such thing is going on. And in spite of that, we made our students do this work. All over India in 2014, just I'm reading out only that 43 all over India has submitted. All over India, so many colleges are there. In spite of that, 43 only have submitted. And our college got 14 shortlisted only. And among that, all over India, just go to the next third column. You can see that 18 students from all over India, only 18 has been selected all over India. So much less were there from all over India. For among 43, only 18 has been finally awarded with a fellowship. That time the fellowship amount was 10,000 rupees with a certificate. And Sharada Krishna got 2 only at that time. But the work done by them was so wonderful that the SSH students of our college has been appreciated by the CCRS at that time. And fortunately, at that time, this particular presentation during the Homeopathy Day, that is World Homeopathy Day on April 14th, the CCRH conducts a wonderful program for the entire SCS students also, and the scholarship students. And students are very much enthusiastic in going to Delhi and attending this program, and they feel proud of being an SCS student in our college. Likewise, in different years, including the COVID period also, you can see the CCRH never came without a program. So see the year also, every year there was a program. There are ups and downs in all these years in our college also. And the last thing, that is 2024, have been submitted, screened, and shortlisted is 12 in Sharada Krishna. And all over India, 57 students were selected. And last time, only 8 students have been selected in our college. So this time, 25 students, 31 students have been shortlisted, and we are awaiting for the results by December. So this is the statistics in our college. And one more last point, madam, you have come on the screen, I can understand. The technique behind SCSS in Sharada Krishna is a very important point, which I would like to tell the faculty members, those who have joined, and the entire homeopathic 360 people, those who have joined, and to all the students, those who have joined. The only technique is hard work. Point number 2 is the entire cooperation of the institute. Unless the institute management is cooperating with you, unless the faculty member is cooperating with the students, this is not going to work out successfully, especially for an undergraduate student of second BHMS. Second BHMS student does not know anything. You have to teach them everything from ABCD about the research. So we, from the right beginning itself, even before SCSH is declared in June, July, we will be telling the students about the importance of research to them, and our management is very much enthusiastic in getting the maximum number of students in research during undergraduate course. So if the entire management and the entire faculty is cooperating with the students in the right level from the beginning to the end, surely there will be successful output for the STSS in every institute in India If every institute in India is doing this work wonderfully, surely the homeopathic research all over India will go to a different level. And not only that, when they reach the post-graduation level, they will also be able to do the work in a better manner. And even in PhD also, they can go to higher level in their work. So doing the research right from the undergraduate level will make them do the best level in their PhD level also, if they are planning to reach that level. So with these words, I didn't take much time, I hope so. Let me thank you all for giving this opportunity to present at least something to you. And if something has been got to all the students, I am very happy. And thanks from the entire Sharda Krishna Homeopathic Medical College, the southernmost part of India in Kanyakumari. And goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for that wonderful and highly practical session. Appreciate your efforts and encouraging words. And now we come to a very special segment of today's program. We are privileged to have with us a distinguished academician, researcher, author, and former leader in the field of homeopathic research. It is my absolute honor to introduce our guest faculty, Professor Dr. Chaturbhuj Nayak, sir. Professor Nayak is the former Director General of CCRH, former Chairman of the Special Committee on Fundamental Research under CCRH, and former Chairman of the Homeopathic Pharmacopoeia Committee, Government of India. He brings with him more than 42 years of teaching experience, along with an extraordinary contribution to homeopathic research and scientific education. He is also the author of the BHMS publication, The Art and Craft of Writing and Publishing Scientific Articles. Sir, having you with us today is truly an honor. Sir, we would like to have you on screen.
Hello, am I
Good
audible?
evening. Yes, sir.
1 minute, 1 minute. My dear participants, at the outset, I must thank, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
At the outset, I must compliment BHMS publishers for arranging this CCRH STSH 2026 program, inviting speakers from different homeopathic medical colleges of the country who have already presented in their on their assigned topics. I was listening to them. I'm extremely thankful to those deliberations made by them. And I am also happy that BHMS has rightly chosen the experts from different parts of the country. The short-term studentship in homeopathy was a very good scheme initiated by CCRH in 2014. And the students from second BHMS up to internship, they are eligible to apply for this scheme. And the details of the scheme can be availed from the website of CCRH. Through today's webinar, the BHMS publishers want to popularize the scheme among a wider audience for the benefit of the students. But my job is something different. I have been asked to speak on a book which is published by BHMS publishers. I will give a brief presentation, very brief presentation on this book. The name of the book is Art and Craft of Writing and Publishing Scientific Articles. This is the cover page. This is the back cover page. And regarding the, I will now go to the salient features of the book. This book contains 34 chapters.
Sir,
and written by
I'm sorry to interrupt. Would you please share the screen?
It is not shared.
No, not yet.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. You can simply click on the start share button and we can see that. I'm sure the audience is eager to see the book.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for reminding me.
No problem at all.
No, I'm not expert. I'm not expert like you.
No.
I'm taking the help of my daughter to help me from Dubai.
Wonderful. No problem, sir. Now we can see that. Please continue.
Okay. So the name of the book is The Art and Craft of Writing and Publishing Scientific Articles. This is the cover page, well designed by BHMS, not designed by me, but designed by the team of BHMS. And the salient features of the book, it contains 34 chapters written by 49 authors. It contains new articles 15 and reprinted articles 19. Reprinted articles means these 19 articles were published in some other journals, including the Homeopathic Heritage, Homeopathy for All, other peer-reviewed and non-peer-reviewed journals. These articles are published in the past. Now, some of the important articles which are relevant to the topic, relevant to the book, I have reprinted. And the new 15 articles are written by very renowned faculty members, and they belong to different reputed institutions, state-of-the-art institutes. I shall tell you in detail in my coming slides. The titles of the topic of the book are Structuring Research Manuscript, Guidelines for Authors in Scientific Writing, Plan the Journey for Writing a Research Article, Designing Data Tables and Graphical Representations for Scientific Articles, then how to write references and bibliography of a scientific article. Because you know, references and bibliography are not same. There is some differences. Then what are the differences and how to write references, how to write bibliography? These are also mentioned in this book. How to write annexures of a scientific article. Many journals want that the author should also provide the enclosures, required enclosures like questionnaire, like case recording format, some other assessment tools, something they want as annexers. So what are the types of different annexers to be given? That is also mentioned here. And a checklist for authors, editors and reviewers. So what should the authors do and do not do? What the editors and reviewers should do and not to do. These things are also mentioned in the book. Then paper processing, what to expect from editors and reviewers. After submitting the article to the journal editor, they will make an internal review. And if they find some merit in our article, then they will send to the external reviewers. And the comments of the external reviewers, they will be conveyed by the journal editor to the authors for necessary revision. So this is paper processing. Then writing in style, what journals want. So you have to follow the style of writing style of the different journals. Then beyond original research, other article types that most journals publish. So beyond original research articles, journals also publish book review, obituary, letter to editor, editorial. So many other aspects are there. So what are the other types of articles can be published in a journal? That is also mentioned here. Then precision in grammar and publication for academic writing. There are so many causes. There are so many factors for rejection of article. Sometimes the articles contain very useful data, very valuable data, but due to some factors, they are not accepted by the journals. Most important factor is the article which is submitted by an author to a journal that doesn't belong to the scope of the journal. Suppose one journal doesn't publish case report or case series, but you are submitting the case report and case series to that journal, so they will definitely reject it, and that will unnecessarily kill your time and their time also. So all the authors should know first whether their articles belong to the domain of or to the scope of the journal. Then other mistakes are grammatical mistakes and punctuation errors are there. So how to correct those mistakes, one has to take care. Then plagiarism has to be avoided. Plagiarism has to be avoided. Many important scholars, very VVIPs who are punished for plagiarism, like Farid Zakaria, who was in the editorial board of the famous Time magazine, was punished for plagiarism. Then former Vice Chancellor of Delhi University, Deepak Pental, he was sent to jail for plagiarism. Then Anant Maselkar, former Director General of Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, he had to withdraw his report when somebody alleged plagiarism in his report. Then the former Chief Minister of Bihar, Nitish Kumar, he was also penalized 15,000 rupees for some plagiarism in his report. And the famous novelist, all of you know Chetan Bhagat, he was also punished for plagiarism because somebody went to quote that some of the paragraphs in the book, in his novel, were plagiarized. So the court ordered for stop selling of the book. So he had a huge loss. So we have to take care of plagiarism. How to avoid plagiarism? This book also involves that. So indexed and peer-reviewed publications in homeopathy and overview. So we have to publish articles in the indexed journals. Indexed journals, the journals which are indexed in PubMed, in the Scopus, and in the Web of Science. These are the important indexing systems. So the journals which are indexed in these indexing systems, those are more dependable journals. And the elements of a review paper. So when there is a review paper, what are the elements? Those are also mentioned in the book. Then another article is on post acceptance affairs related to scientific articles. The task that begins after you think it is done. Means suppose you have submitted an article, it is accepted by the editor. Then what are the subsequent things you have to do? Subsequent things you have to means you have to address to the reviewer's comments also positively. The next point is post-publication issues, how to maintain and nourish your paper as an asset. After the publication of the article, don't think that your job is over. Many people, many readers will ask you questions. They may praise you, they may criticize you. That criticism doesn't mean negative criticism. They may suggest you for further improvement. Take all these things very sportively and try to improve. Then up to this 14, up to this 15, these are the new articles. Then from 16 onwards, fundamentals of writing a research paper, scientific articles, reasons to publish, why to publish. Today in the during lunch session, I was taking a lecture for D.Y. Patel, Homeopathy Medical College and Research Center of Pune. My topic was why and how to write scientific articles. So there are some reasons why to publish. Then selecting appropriate titles of research paper. One of the speakers also has told that how to select proper title by using that finer formula: feasible, interesting, novel, ethical, and relevant. So that is also very good thing he told. Using that finer formula, the title should be written. Then how to write the abstract and keywords. The abstract may be of two types: structured abstract, unstructured abstract. So you have to see whether the journal wants the abstract to be written in structured form or in unstructured form. That you have to also follow. Writing effective introduction. Next is material methods. Next, result section. Then discussion section. How to write conclusion section. How to write acknowledgement section. How to deal with conflict of interest. And how to deal with publication ethics. That is very important. You have to follow the publication ethics. Means you have to avoid the scientific fraud, data fabrication. You have to avoid duplicate publication. Don't send your articles at the same time, one article at the same time to different journals. Don't send your article in English to one journal, and translate it to Hindi to another journal. These are going against the ethics of publications. So you have to follow the guidelines for scientific publications. And there is one organization called COPE, Committee of Publication Ethics. COPE. They prescribe what are the ethics to be observed by the authors, by the reviewers also, and by the editors also. And plagiarism is scientific misconduct. I have already told you about this issue. Then case reporting in homeopathy, why and how. There is a difference between case reporting in homeopathy and case reporting in allied medicine. So there will be some additional points. When you write a case reporting in homeopathy, you cannot publish any ordinary. Suppose you have cured influenza, you have cured constipation, that cannot be reported. So you have to report some very interesting cases, so that journals will take interest to publish. And for reporting case report, there is one international guidelines called CARE guidelines. CARE. CA stands for case, RE stands for report. Case report guideline. On the basis of the case report guideline, there is another author in homeopathy. His name is Robert Van Haslin. Robert Van Haslin. He has written home case guidelines. On the basis of the CARE guidelines, he has written and he has published an article in a very reputed journal, Complementary in Medicine or something, where he has mentioned how homeopathy cases, how the case reports in homeopathy should be written. Then journal articles vis-a-vis books, similarity and contrasting features. We should not write journal articles the way we write books. There are some differences. There are some similarities. There are some differences. There is also a chapter. Then converting dissertation to journal article. This is very important. Why and how? Why to convert dissertation to article and how to convert dissertation to article. I have also very good presentation on that also, PPT. When a PG student completes dissertation writing, one copy will be with him, another copy of the dissertation will be in the college library, another copy with the guide, and another copy, 1 or 2 copies with the university. Then how does the profession get benefit? Unless you convert it to a journal article and publish it in a journal, reputed journal, whatever you have done research during your PG or PhD cannot be known to the profession. So I will request all the PG students through this forum, they must convert their dissertation. They must convert their dissertation to journal article and try to publish in the peer-reviewed journals. The next is factors affecting quality of scientific articles. Then common pitfalls when writing scientific articles. What are the common lacuna? What are the common shortcomings while writing scientific articles? Because this is a very good chapter in the book which points out what are the common mistakes and how to overcome those common mistakes while writing article. Then last article is barriers in writing and publishing scientific articles. There are some obstacles. When you write article, when you publish articles, there are some obstacles you'll face. But I will request all of you not to be disheartened, by these barriers, because many times what happens, these PG students, PhD scholars, suppose they have sent an article to a journal and the reviewers they give their comments to make a review. They reject it. They may reject it. They may advise for some major corrections. Sometimes these students, they do not follow the instructions of the reviewers. They feel disheartened and they give up. But my request to them that don't take their comments of the reviewers as a negative things. Take it positively. Try to revise your article according to their suggestions and again resubmit to the same journal, or you can resubmit to some other journal. So by following all these guidelines, you can definitely improve your quality of writing also. And I'm confident these 34 articles of this book will be extremely helpful for the authors from different medical streams. And the authors, I'll tell you who are the authors. The authors, I'm not telling their names, but they belong to some very reputed, highly state-of-the-art institutions like Indian Council of Medical Research. Former Director General, who is very, very VIP, he has also contributed. He was the former scientist in Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. He has contributed an article. The past and present scientists of CCRH, the past and present scientists of CCRS, means Central Council for Ayurvedic Sciences, the present scientist of Central Council for Research in Unani Medicine, former scientist of Ministry of Family Welfare, I have told you. Then present faculty of National Institute of Homeopathy, present faculty of National Institute of Ayurveda, present scientist of Bureau of Indian Standards, present vice chancellor of Binayak Missions Research Foundation, which is a deemed to be university, and present faculties of government homeopathy medical colleges, present faculties of government Ayurvedic medical colleges, present faculties of private homeopathy medical colleges, present faculties of private Ayurvedic medical colleges, present physicians of state government hospitals, and present scientists of Tata Institute of Social Sciences. These are the experts from different institutions, very highly reputed institutions. They have contributed for this, and central government, and yes, present physician of central government hospital, present faculties of academic institutions of Ayurveda, faculties of institutes of social sciences, and others. They have contributed for this book. Then who are beneficiaries for the book? The professionals of all Ayush streams. I'm not telling that this book is only helpful for homeopathy students. This book is also helpful for Ayurvedic students and faculties, Unani, Siddha, and all medical streams. Because this is a quite generic in nature, and this will be helpful for students, teachers, clinicians, and researchers. And lastly, before ending my speech, I want to tell you a very useful statement of Robert B. Taylor, who was the professor of emeritus, Oregon Health and Science University School of Medicine, Portland, Oregon, USA. He told, "You can have a brilliant idea, perform groundbreaking research, and write results with great proficiency. But if the result is not published so that it can be cited, criticized, or praised, then the effort has been largely wasted." So he's telling somebody might have very brilliant research idea. He might have done very high quality research, and he might have written results, the manuscript, with great proficiency. So if he can publish the paper, what will happen? If can publish the paper, others can cite, others can criticize, others can praise. And criticism doesn't mean only negative criticism. They can also suggest some improvements in the type of manuscript. But if you do not publish the paper, then your effort has been largely wasted. So even if you have brilliant idea or you have written very good manuscript, you have enough data, but please don't be satisfied with that. Always try to publish. And by publishing these articles, the students will get better scope during their initial appointment and also during promotion. The academicians also, those who are already holding the job of assistant professor or associate professor, they can also get privilege, more weightage during their promotion. The academicians who are requesting for applying for research grants to the funding agencies, definitely this funding agency will also see the background, the credibility of the researcher. What are the publications the applicant has in the past to his credit. So I request all of you to make publications so that definitely you will be rewarded in future. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.
Thank you so
Anything
much, sir.
Anything you can ask about this book? And this book is published by a very famous BHMS publishers, which are a very international network. And you can order for this book from BHMS publishers. And you can contact Dr. Noori or Dr. Sital Punpalia from BHMS publishers how to get this book.
Thank you so much, sir. It has truly been a privilege to have a conversation with you, and we are deeply grateful for your time and sharing your wisdom with us. We have now traveled through the entire research journey. I would request the audience to send their queries on info@homeopathy360.com. I have shared this email on chat box also. Some questions are already answered by our experts, but because the time is, not permitting, so we will take up your queries via the mail. As we come towards the end of today's orientation, I would like to sincerely thank you, all the distinguished speakers, for sharing their time, expertise, and experience with us. A very special thank you to our guest faculty, Professor Dr. Chaturbuj Naik sir, Dr. P.R. Sisir sir, Dr. Vishal Deshpande, Dr. Neerav Ganatra, and Dr. Preeti Jha ma'am for guiding our students through different stages of the research journey. This video will be available soon on Homeopathy 360 YouTube channel. And to all the students who joined us today and participated, I would like to leave you with just one thought. Research doesn't always begin with a laboratory or a grant or a publication. Sometimes it begins with a student who simply asks why. So remain curious, observe carefully, question intelligently, learn scientifically, and most importantly, don't be afraid to begin. The STSH program can potentially be one of the first steps in your research profile and developing the confidence to contribute meaningfully to the future of homeopathy, as Dr. Naik has said. So on behalf of Homeopathy 360, thank you all for being part of this orientation program. I'm Dr. Noori, your moderator for today's session. It has been a pleasure learning with all of you. Keep questioning, keep learning, and perhaps one day we will see some of the students joining us, not as participants, but as mentors like today we have. Thank you, everyone. Good night. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Noori, for your nice coordination.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you.